You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
All right, welcome back to our second half. I've got a car question. I'm going to go to Brian Armstead because he's got something you want. If you're looking at a luxury car, this might be something you might want to look into. But this Lexus. But I got Cody with a 06 Hummer. Cody, what's your question about your 06 Hummer before I go to Brian Armstead?
Yes, sir. I've got a very strange issue. I've done a lot of repairs on this vehicle.
Yeah, it's a Hummer. Of course you do.
Yes, sir. When I wake up in the morning and go to crank it up, it starts for just a second and then quickly shuts off.
Mm-hmm.
And the dash says reduced power, check stab system.
Mm-hmm.
It's a common issue with the H3s, but I've replaced the throttle body, the gas pedal sensor. I had a mechanic tell me that it was the fuel pump. You know, I've spent about $1,500 on this vehicle and have yet to fix it. But the strange thing is, if the temperature is about 80 degrees or higher, it'll start up and it'll run perfectly. But if it's any lower than that, it won't crank.
Really? You got me. I don't really know. The biggest thing when you have something reduced power on there that I've seen where people have done the repairs on the throttle body, the wiring to the throttle body, they put in butt connectors. I don't know if that...
Yes, sir. I replaced that one, too.
Okay, I'm just making... If they did, get rid of that, because that's what the biggest problem is. I find out it wipes out the butt connect. The butt connectors cause too much resistance to the throttle body, which wipes out the computer and the throttle body. They both die.
Yes, sir.
They have to be heat shrink and soldered. Have you checked to see if there's an update reprogramming?
No. I know a lot of things that I've looked into are pointing to the PCM.
Tell you what, come by here. This is what I'm going to do for you. Since you got on the show and I got to get Brian on here, I want you to come by here. I'll grab my factory scanner. I'll walk out there. I'll request the ID information out of your computer. I'll walk back into the back. I'll plug it into my computer, talk to General Motors and say, hey, has this thing got an updated program on it? In about 45 seconds, I'll get the answer. And then I'll
do that.
Come on by. We'll see if we can take care of you, okay? Appreciate that, Cody.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome. Hey, this is James Morris. I got Brian Armstead. Now we're going to talk about the Lexus. Brian, thank you for holding on there. Tell me about this Lexus that I saw the interior of that thing on the pictures, and it's wow. It's fantastic.
Yeah, good morning, James.
Good morning, sir.
Anne-Marie. It's an incredible car. I mean, it's got a lot of good features, a lot of style. I'm talking to you about my normal headset on, and I can't hear myself, so it's a little bit weird for me today.
Oh, sorry. Hang in there.
I just got up this morning, couldn't find a thing. You know, I drive a lot of cars during the course of a year. Some I'm very fond of, and some I'm not so fond of. And
right.
Got to tell you, James, this is probably the best car I've driven for the 2017-2018 model year so far.
Good.
Lexus has always built high-quality automobiles in terms of their reliability. They built high-quality automobiles in terms of most of the items that they use for fit and finish, you know, interior items, things of that nature. Well, I just got back from San Francisco test driving the new LS, which is the four-door sedan.
Right.
But to drive to the airport and to drive back from the airport, and over the last week, minus the 3 days I was in San Francisco, I drove the LC 500 Sports Coupe.
Two-door.
$92,000 base price, $105,000 in change as tested. The best car I've driven all year, hands down. I mean, 471 horsepower, naturally aspirated V8. Reams, googads of power that just comes on like a freight train when you want to get out in a hurry. Paddle shifters with a 10-speed automatic transmission with manual mode. 4 different modes. You have Eco, Normal, rather Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. And those are just parameters that you can use to change transmission shift points, transmission downshift points, and exhaust parameters. And put the thing in Sport Plus mode and you lose a little bit of traction control and stability control, it partially turns off.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go sailing around a corner at high speed, you can literally hang the tail up and have a little fun without worrying about losing total control of the car as you would, if you were an unskilled driver with switching off the electronic stability control, traction control completely. Now, I don't recommend going around corners sideways. I just don't recommend that. But if you have the ability to accomplish this feat, it's a hell of a lot of fun, let me tell you.
So you can actually drift in this car, as they say, kind of drift.
You can hang the tail up and have a little fun with this car, and it just responds so beautifully.
And the track, and you say that's because they had the 4 different modes because most cars with traction
Sport Plus mode.
Okay, because most of it won't allow that to happen anymore. You can't do that.
So Sport Plus, that's considered like the racetrack mode.
Okay.
So it's not a full-out racetrack mode where you turn all electronic aids off.
Okay.
And you're just at the mercy of your own talent.
Well, but $106,000 would make me be very cautious. I wouldn't want to wrap that thing around a telephone pole.
Well, but see, that's the new Lexus, though, James. I mean, they're looking for drivers now as opposed to just posers and people who want super luxury without any risk.
Okay, well
this is a risk-taking car. This is a car that you want to go out and seek and destroy. I mean, it literally has that kind of personality. Now, you switch it back to eco mode or normal mode. If you're in eco mode, you'll get 26 miles a gallon on the highway, 19 city. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
But if you're in normal mode, you've just got a steady state luxury cruiser that just wants to go down the boulevard and just look pretty, and it damn sure is pretty. It's a gorgeous automobile.
Well, the interior was awesome. I know, man.
My car was finished. I can't even remember the colors. It's called Ultra White, and I had red leather with red Alcantara trim.
Okay.
My goodness, just a stunning upgrade. I mean, this is the performance package you saw with the sports seats,
right,
and the Alcantara headliner and all that, carbon fiber everywhere. Part of a $5,900 package, which gets it up from $92 close to $105.
Yeah.
There's several packages here. I've got a convenience package. The 21-inch forged wheels are a must-buy. These things are gorgeous. They're just like knockout styling on the 21-inch wheels. Those cost $2,600. The Mark Levinson audio system, boy, it really rocks. $1,220.
It better rock for that kind of price. It better sing to me.
There's some systems out there like the Bang & Olufsen system on some Audis that cost $6,300, which is not as impressive as this $1,200 Mark Levinson system in the Lexus LC 500. So basically, I know my time is a little short.
We got about 4 minutes. You got 4 more minutes.
Okay, cool.
I want to let you know that. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, because I didn't get an accurate count, didn't start my stopwatch.
I know, I was bad. I should have told you. We're at 8:17 right now, and we can go to 12:30 is what my wife's telling me.
Okay, very good. So, I just think that if you want something that's not high-strung like a Ferrari or, Lamborghini or even an Audi V8, the R8 V10 Plus that we talked about a couple months ago, this is the car for you. It turns heads like you would not believe. People are just like, wow. Yeah. They finally have this spindle grille up front perfected. When the spindle grille first came out, it was a little bizarre looking.
Yeah, it is.
But on this new Lexus LC 500, it looks purposeful and aesthetically pleasing. Purposeful in the sense that it sucks in a whole lot of cool air to keep that 571 horsepower engine not only cool through the radiator, but it just draws in enough air so that when you put your foot on the throttle, it can draw enough air from the engine compartment from that fresh air intake to get you down the road quickly. But it looks good. They've redesigned it so that it has thousands of different surface areas on the spindle grille. On the new Lexus LS, they've got 5,000 to 7,000 actual touch points on the grille. So you can imagine what kind of technology and engineering went into just designing the grille.
Wow. Because Lexus always puts a lot of research and development in their vehicles. They always do.
Yeah, and it's got all kinds of things like adaptive variable suspension, 6-piston Brembos up front. These are brake calipers, 4-piston in the rear.
Ooh.
It's built for performance. All kinds of safety features that you would expect on a high-end car. They're all there, so we don't have to talk about that. You know, I always buy my cars based on safety.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to say, well, is this Lexus, you know, a safe car? Yeah, well, it's got radars, cruise control, it's got a head-up display, it's got a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection. The whole Lexus safety system is there. Advanced front airbags, driver and passenger knee airbags, which help keep you from submarining or sliding under the seatbelt in a severe crash.
I've seen that happen. Yes, I've seen that happen.
Just a lot of good stuff here. Electroluminescent gauge is a really cool feature. You can switch the gauge pod from like a normal gauge pod to a custom gauge pod by pressing a button on the steering wheel, and the actual gauge cluster is motorized and will go from right to left and left to right, depending on which gauge cluster you want to see. I've got an Instagram. I've got a video up on Instagram at Road Gear Sun. Road Gear, like sun in the sky, at Road Gear Sun. If anybody wants to take a look at the video that I posted of this actual gauge cluster going from side to side, it's really quite a sight. But it's just indicative of the high tech that Lexus has put in the car. Everything fits in your hand perfectly. A nice fat steering wheel. The shift points are perfect. The 10-speed is rapid-fire accurate. And when you're cruising at 70 miles an hour, you're cruising along in 10th gear, the engine's barely exercising itself, so you can expect a lot of good longevity out of this engine. This is a car that you can drive for 250,000 miles, and it will still perform like the day you bought it. And that's kind of been the hallmark of Lexus: longevity, reliability, and now style, super style, and awesome performance.
25 seconds.
If I had $100,000 to spend, this would be the car that I would buy. You can go to LexusUSA.com for more. Next week, we're going to actually talk about the Lexus LS, their new flagship sedan. Very nice car. Not quite as top shelf as this LC500, but a very, very solid effort from Lexus with their sedan as well. We'll talk about that next Thursday.
Brian, thank you so much for calling. People, they got to see all the pictures behind me. They were flashing. My wife pulled them all off yesterday, and hopefully people got an idea what this Lexus looks like and the performance and what you talk about. But if people want a luxury car, that sounds like the car they may want to get. Me, I'm just going to
luxury performance car.
Luxury performance car.
Not just a luxury. That's just a luxury car.
A performance car. Me, I'm just going to settle for my little Prius. I'll be happy with it. All right, you be good, Brian. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, everybody.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.